Hi YouTube, this is going to be I'm not going to say a quick video, but I got this video idea from Naturally Mel Cherie. She did a video a while back on Speak My Life, and I know it's from the tag Draw My Life, but then again, I can't draw. I'm not going to try to, so I thought that I would just borrow her idea of Speak My Life and let you all know a little bit about me. So here we go. I was born on February 8th, 1986 at Charity Hospital in Bogalusa, Louisiana. And many people will not know where that is at, and I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, both of my parents are from Louisiana. We are a mix of African American, Asian, Creole, French, and Caucasian. And I know to look at me, you may not be able to tell, but yeah, I'm a mix of a bunch of stuff. My parents stayed together actually 1 year after I was born. I have two older siblings who the three of us have the same dad, and one younger who doesn't. My older brother, he's 31. My older sister, she's 29. I'm the middle child. I'm 27, and my younger sister, she is 20. And it's so funny that Mel Cherie, added the fact that her younger brother was 6 years younger than her, because my little sister is exactly 6 years younger than me. And just like her, I was not happy about having another sibling. Like, seriously, I was not happy at all. I was like, look, people, I'm the baby. What y'all trying to do? I wasn't happy. I showed my little butt. But yeah, my older two siblings are exactly a year apart. No, I say a year and some months. Almost 2 years. And me and my older sister are almost 3 years apart. And of course, me and my younger is 3 years apart. Let's see what else. A funny thing about all of the siblings' names. Our names came from either a family friend of my mother's, or it came from a relative. So my older brother's name is Brandon Charles, and Charles came from my uncle. And my older sister's name is Gwendolyn Rochelle, and Gwendolyn came from the lady who was in the car with my mom while she gave birth. Let me repeat that, because you're like, did I just hear that? Yes. My older sister was born in the backseat of a car on the way to the hospital. They did not actually make it to the hospital, so the lady's name was Gwen. So my mom named her Gwendolyn after her best friend Gwen. My name is Frances Shalette, and my name came from a family friend. Her name is Charlotte with an R. Mine doesn't have an R though. And my younger sister, her dad's name is Alvin. Her name is Ashton Nichelle. So yeah, we all have, something from somebody, either where it's a family friend or, something like that in our names. Let's see what else I wrote down here. When I was in elementary, I went to a predominantly white elementary, and I can remember there only being 3 black teachers, and this really wasn't anything out of the ordinary. For me, because that's how I always remembered the place where I lived being. But yeah, I went to a predominantly white elementary school. And I remember there being a lot of black aides, or like black ladies that worked in the cafeteria, whatever, but not a lot of black teachers. In elementary, I had one black teacher. Yes, Miss Bivens. I still remember her name. I had one black teacher. But in elementary, I was teased a lot because of my skin color. And I dealt with that a lot in elementary. Kids can be very cruel. But I was a little bit taller than the other kids, and maybe a little bit heavier than the other kids. And of course, my complexion was a lot darker. So, I was teased, called a lot of names, but I didn't really let it bother me. When I got to third grade, I was actually held back. Yes, I was held back, just like Mel Sheree was held back in the second grade. I was held back in the third because, one, I like to play around. When I was in elementary, I just didn't, and that's crazy to say, but I didn't want to listen. I acted out a lot, but also I was really bad in math when I was in school. So I've gotten better over the years, but I just did not like math, and sometimes I just would play with a test or whatever. But I can remember on my fifth grade graduation, that was the first time that I remember my mother being able to attend one of my graduations. My mother was a single parent of four, and she had to work a lot. So that's what I remember. After my mom and dad split up when I was one, he has never been there. But yeah, let's fast forward to junior high. In the sixth grade, again, playing around. I got held back in the sixth grade for playing too much. I repeated the sixth grade, passed it. Fast forward to May 7th, 2002. And I remember the morning of one of my graduations, I remember my little sister waking me up. And I can remember her saying, something is wrong with mama, something's wrong with mama. So I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I went in the room, and my mom told me, she didn't feel well. She felt really sick, called an ambulance, this and that. And the third, well, where I lived, everybody knew each other, and the place was really, really small. So I called the ambulance. And I'm sorry, I just had a brain freeze. I called the ambulance, and it came, and they knew exactly what was going on with her. They said that she was suffering an aneurysm, and I can't remember exactly how old I was at the time, but it wasn't more than my graduation. But I didn't care. I wanted to go to the hospital with her, but she told me no, to go ahead to my graduation. And my older sister would get out of school and go to the hospital with her. So me and my younger sister, we stayed home, and she went on to the hospital. And I can remember doing my hair. I can remember getting dressed, and I remember me and her had just went shopping for this nice dress or whatever. And I don't know, it's just, I can remember just not even wanting to go to graduation. I just kept thinking, is she okay? Is she okay? Is she okay? And she was, but at that time I didn't really care about anything else but making sure she was okay. On the way out of the door, she had told me that she was going to get one of her friends to come and be with me at my graduation. So fast forward to ninth grade. I was I don't even remember how old I was. It's sad, but again, I was teased a lot, not because of my skin color, but those little jabs were always thrown. But this time it was more because, having a single parent of four children, you can't always provide the name brand things and all of that. And honestly, when I was young, I didn't care too much for that stuff. I didn't care. As long as it was cute. I loved thrifting all my life, so I didn't care about that type of stuff. But, I was teased a lot in ninth grade about that. And I don't know. I never got into a fight, though. I was very quiet at that time. I stayed to myself. Didn't have, many friends. The ones that I had, I grew up with. But yeah, fast forward to 11th grade. 11th grade, I did become pregnant in high school. And I was at the time living with my then boyfriend. I know it was just crazy. Just thinking about it is crazy. But yeah, I became pregnant with a little boy. And 4 months later, almost 4 months later, I went through a terrible, terrible miscarriage. And after that, I could not. I couldn't see myself sitting in a class, listening to a teacher when I'm thinking I want my child to be here. It's kind of like I couldn't cope. I couldn't cope with people seeing me knowing that I wasn't pregnant anymore. I couldn't cope with people knowing that I had lost a child, and I didn't want anybody's sympathy. I wanted to cry in peace. I wanted to, have the time to myself. So what I did was I dropped out of school in 11th grade and I never went back. Every day my mom asked me, was I going to school? Was I going to school? I would tell her no. So I eventually dropped out. Fast forward to 2005. My older sister was living here in Georgia, where I live now. In Georgia. Sounded funny. In Georgia, where I live now. But yeah, I just needed a change of scenery, especially after everything that had happened. So at that time my mom was fine, she was working, everything was going great with her. So I left. I moved here to Georgia with my older sister at the time. I believe she was 23. And I enrolled in a trade school where I got my CNA and my GED. And I, started out on a journey. I just convinced myself that I wanted to go to college because I wanted to provide a life not only for myself but my mother that she couldn't give, herself. I wanted her to have everything. So yeah, I started that journey. I finished school. It didn't take me long to finish school. And I didn't know at that time, even younger, I didn't know that the government would help you when you were trying to go to school, being, financial aid, hope, scholarships. I didn't know anything about that. I just figured that, because I know that my mother can't pay for it out of pocket, that I'm just going to always have this dream of being a nurse. I'm never going to be one. So fast forward from 2005 to 2008. At that time, me and my boyfriend then, who's now my husband, now we're going through a lot. And I can remember, all the young girls, we leave and say we're never coming back and do all of that crap. But yeah, I left, came back, and my phone went dead on the way back to, the house where him and I lived. So once I plugged my phone up as soon as I walked in the house, and my phone just started going off with voicemails and text messages, and I'm just like, what is going on? I listened to my voicemail, and it's my uncle's wife on the phone telling me that my aunt had died. And yeah, I was kind of in a blur for a while. She was kind of the glue that held everything together. And I do feel like since, she left, everything has changed, but everything happens for a reason.